How many plugins do you actually need? Seriously though, how many plugins do you actually really need in order to make music? And are there any that you simply, really, must have? Well, keep watching and I'll give you my thoughts on this contentious topic. If this is your first time here and you want to learn all about music production in a straightforward, no-nonsense way, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell as well. First, let's get the terminology straight. I will use the term plugin to cover just synthesizers, which are used to create sound from scratch using oscillators. Samplers. These create the sound from samples. And effects plugins, such as compressors, equalizers, etc. Also, the term stock plugin. This is a plugin that comes with, and only works in, your particular DAW. Everything else is a third-party plugin, and can in theory be used in any DAW. Okay, now we got that straight. Let's dive right in. There are countless plugins out there, some are expensive, some are free. Some people say that you need to have this or that plugin in order to make proper music. When you're just starting out, all of these various options can be quite confusing. And it's not just as simple as the most expensive ones being the best. Plus, there are many really good free ones out there too. That is certainly my opinion. Really, it doesn't really matter what kind of plugin you use. They basically all do the same things, just some have more features than others. But does that really even matter? Especially if you don't really need those features. At the end of the day, you'll be able to make great music with all of them. Yes, even those stock plugins that come with your DAW. Yes, seriously, even with those. As long as you know how to use them properly, that is. One of the mistakes I often see people make is, they want to get a hold of as many plugins as possible. Whether it's effects or virtual instruments, thinking more is always better is hardly ever the best approach, and not just in music production. It's much better to have one plugin you really know inside and out, than 20 to 30 you don't really know anything about. So, learn how to use each one properly is my advice. Then, once you get comfortable with how they work, you can try out some new and more advanced ones. Of course, it's only natural to start out with your DAW stock plugins. I still have one or two that will feature in most of my tracks, mainly for their ease of use. However, another benefit is usually lower CPU usage. Typically though, you'll want to move on to some of the many third-party ones that are out there. And there are some really good ones too. And yes, people do use them for good reason. One of the biggest benefits of having a third-party plugin is, for instance, the vast number of presets they come with. If you buy one of the big name brands, there will be countless sound banks available. One of the things I've found with presets is that often it's those preset sounds themselves that have inspired me to go on to create something. And, yes, it's just a myth that professionals never use presets. I've heard many other professionals say that they were just browsing through some presets, and then they heard a certain sound. Then boom! The whole track just suddenly came together. Put simply, presets can inspire creativity. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Does it really matter if you spend 2 hours synthesizing a sound from scratch? Or, if you find one that's basically identical in a preset? If you're really into sound design, then of course maybe. But in the end, the only thing that really matters is that your track sounds great. Do the listeners care how it was made? They only care about how it sounds. So, the best approach is: start out with stock plugins, learn how they work. Then move on to the third-party ones, but only when you're sure you need them, and you know how to get the best out of them. Don't make the mistake of getting a whole bunch of plugins that you'll never use. They'll just fill up your hard drive. And you will not remember what track you used it in. Or if you used it all. And as you get better, or as you develop your own particular sound, you'll most probably end up using only a small number. Those will be your favorite ones. Well, that's it for this video. Finally, I'd like to thank our subscribers for all their ongoing support. And, as always, if there's any specific tutorial you'd like us to make, or if you have questions, just let us know in the comments below.